I don't know if you've ever had your whole life turned upside down by someone with a clipboard and a grudge, but if you have, you'll know what I mean when I say, sometimes the scariest people aren't the ones with ski masks, but the ones who show up on your land with a binder full of rules and the belief that you don't belong. Yeah, that happened to us. I still remember the sunset that night, red and blue lights flickering across the lake, my wife Laura frozen by the gate, a screwdriver in one hand, a shiny new lock in the other, while a woman with giant sunglasses and a voice like a chainsaw screamed into her phone. She's breaking in. This is HOA property. I mean, come on. It wasn't. The gate was ours. The cabin, the land, all of it. We paid for every last inch, but Lorraine, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, just couldn't accept that. And that's how my wife nearly got arrested for replacing a lock on our own damn gate. But let me back up a sec, because if you want to know how it got to that point, you've got to understand what it's like to move out to Whispering Pines Lake thinking you found your little slice of heaven, only to realize there's a storm coming and it's wearing a name tag. We bought that old cabin in early spring, me, Kevin, and Laura, hoping for quiet nights, maybe a little peace, somewhere Duke, our old retriever, could finally nap in the sun. The air out there smelled like freedom, pine needles, lake water, promise. Laura called it her dream spot. But all dreams have a little nightmare in the corners, you know? The first time Lorraine showed up, she didn't bother with small talk, just marched across the gravel, pointed at my truck and barked, "You can't park there." Binder in hand, rules at the ready. She was the type to recite bylaws at a funeral. "You're breaking Rule 12, Section C. No building without HOA approval," she snapped. "But it's just a porch," I tried. "Still needs approval." She wasn't just into the rules. She was the rules, or at least she thought so. We tried to be neighborly, cookies at the meeting, offers to help repaint the old dock. But once Lorraine had made up her mind, that was it. We were outsiders. And from there, things only got weirder. See, we put a keypad lock on our gate, mostly to keep out raccoons and the occasional lost hiker. Next thing we know, someone scratched up the keypad, tried to jimmy it open. We didn't want drama, so we swapped it out, put up a little security camera, thought maybe that'd be the end of it. But when you live next to a Karen, it's never the end. Suddenly we're getting HOA violation notices in the mail, flags too big, fire pits too close, Duke's barking at night. He barely snores louder than a goldfish, but whatever. She called animal control on us, too. It wasn't about the rules. She just wanted us gone. One night, I caught her at the fence, bolt cutters in hand, scurrying off like a cartoon villain when I yelled. We had her on video, but we still didn't report her. Laura kept saying, "Let's just put a better lock on the gate, something she can't mess with." So one Saturday, while I was in town, Laura goes out with a brand new stainless keypad and starts changing it. Only problem, Lorraine saw her. Next thing, she's screeching up the driveway in her golf cart, waving that binder around like she's about to perform an exorcism. "You can't do that. It's community property," she shouted. "It's not," Laura tried to explain, but Lorraine wasn't having it. She whipped out her phone and dialed 911. "You're going to jail, Missy." And I get the call, Laura's voice tight with fear. "Kevin, the cops are here. Please come quick." Groceries went flying as I raced back, heart pounding so loud I could barely hear. By the time I got there, an officer was telling Laura to drop the screwdriver while Lorraine looked like she'd just won the lottery. And then, plot twist, Lorraine turns to the officer and says, "That woman's a squatter. She's breaking into this property." You ever seen your whole reality twist sideways? My wife, squatter. The cop starts asking for deeds, IDs. Laura's name isn't on the property, just mine. Lorraine smirking. It's humiliating. But I wasn't about to let this play out. I pull up the county property map on my phone, point to the red line. This is our land, our gate. The HOA boundary ends right over there. The officer studies the map, looks at my license, then sighs. "Ma'am, if this line's correct, you need to leave these folks alone." Lorraine loses it, but she's outnumbered by the facts for once. She storms off, muttering about lawsuits. Laura's still shaking. The next day, we get an HOA letter, $500 fine for unauthorized security change. She just doubled down, you know what I mean? That's when I realized we weren't just dealing with a petty neighbor. This was someone who would do anything to win. We decided to fight back. Called Rick, my buddy from a real estate law firm. Asked him to dig into Lorraine's HOA status, the bylaws, anything. While we waited, the neighborhood started turning cold. Old Mr. Whitmore stopped waving. Folks crossed the street. One neighbor even sent a note asking if we could tone down the drama. They'd weaponized the community against us. 3 nights later, someone tried to break in. 2 men at the gate with bolt cutters at 1 a.m., Duke barking like he was 5 years younger, Laura dialing the sheriff. When the deputy showed up, he said, "You're lucky. This isn't normal HOA business. Somebody's trying to scare you." Then Rick calls. "Kevin, Lorraine's not even the legal HOA president anymore. Her term expired 2 years back. She's been running things with no authority. None of those fines or notices are legal." I sat down dizzy. That was fraud, plain and simple. But before we could act, a threatening message landed on Laura's phone. "Stop digging or your little cabin won't be so peaceful anymore." Next, there's a pounding at our door. I open it to find Mr. Whitmore, shaking, holding a manila envelope. "I shouldn't be here," he whispers, "but you need to know the truth." Inside the envelope, old meeting notes, checks made out to Lorraine from a security company, minutes showing fake rule changes. She wants total control. She's been pushing out owners, especially the older ones who can't fight back. "You were supposed to give up," he said, "but you didn't. That's why it's getting ugly." Before he left, he warned, "Whatever you do, don't let her call another emergency board meeting. That's when things go missing." As if on cue, everything ramped up. Power cut in the middle of the night, generator sabotaged, 2 men with gas cans sneaking up to our gate. If Laura hadn't set off the car alarm, I don't know what would have happened. When the deputies saw the security footage, they promised an investigation, but said, "It'll take time." Meanwhile, we got another note, painted on the garage this time. "Leave, or we will." The next night, we watched on our camera as Mr. Whitmore was dragged off his porch by masked men. Laura wanted to call 911, but by the time help arrived, they were gone. The cops said it was just intimidation. We knew better. The next day, Whitmore limped up to our place, bruised but alive. He handed me a steel box, inside, a flash drive. I backed up everything. Meeting recordings, emails, video of Lorraine threatening people. But be careful. She's got eyes everywhere. That same morning, we found a dead squirrel nailed to our front door, a note. "Turn it in, and we'll turn you in." That's when I realized we weren't just fighting for our cabin. We were standing in the way of something much bigger. Our phones, internet, cut again. Out by the lake that night, we saw a crowd of neighbors, torches in hand, Lorraine out front, her face twisted in that familiar sneer. "This is an emergency compliance check," she shouted, demanding to search our house for fake documents. I grabbed the satellite phone from the attic, called the sheriff. When they rolled up, blue lights spinning, the mob melted. Lorraine tried to talk her way out, but when the deputy said she was under investigation, she tossed a flashbang and vanished into the woods. No joke. Smoke and chaos, and she was gone. We handed over the flash drive. The investigation went up to the county level. But the next day, a note in red ink. "She's not alone." We barely slept. Laura's nerves were shot, Duke on constant alert. Then, out by our old shed, I found a stranger, Arthur Kellerman, the founder of Whispering Pines. I started this place with my wife. Lorraine forced me out, changed the bylaws, created fake board members. She's been using the HOA as a front to buy up land, push people out, sell to shell companies. He had the original rules, old maps, proof our property never belonged to the HOA. But he also brought a cassette, his insurance, a confession from Lorraine, caught on tape. He promised to deliver it to the state attorney general himself. Arthur never made it. His truck was found in a ditch, the tape gone. But Laura found a backup, hidden under our sink. The minute we played it, the TV cut to static and suddenly Lorraine's face flickered on, grainy and cruel. "You think this is about a cabin? It's about the whole lake." She was going to take everything. We had to move fast, snuck out to a second property registered to Lake Whisper Trust, found files, blueprints, photos, plans for a resort. Lorraine caught us, tossed me, but Duke tackled her. Just when it looked bad, Tom, my old friend, neighbor, walked in with a gun. She promised my daughter's college. Sirens wailed, deputies swarmed in. Tom dropped the gun. Lorraine was arrested, kicking and screaming about her lake. Deputy West thanked us for the evidence, said Arthur had actually faked his disappearance, He'd sent the tape to his lawyer and drawn Lorraine out. Weeks later, with Lorraine gone, the fake board dissolved, and the county investigating everyone connected, Laura and I finally found peace on our porch. The sun on the water, Duke sleeping by the new gate we built with our own hands. But sometimes, Laura still glances at the tree line, voice barely above a whisper, she's not alone. And I remind her, neither are we. So let me ask you, was it worth it? Standing up for what's right, knowing you'll never really be left alone? What would you have done if it were your home, your family, your peace on the line? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear how you'd handle a war with the world's worst HOA. You know what I mean?